Getting fired sucks. There's just no ways around it. It sucks. It can be painful as hell, even if you see it coming from a mile away. It's tough, right? It's a shot to the ego. But I want you to avoid this one mistake that most people make that derails the entire career. Don't let that be you. Before I tell you about that one big mistake, you're probably thinking, what do you actually do from now? What do you do when you get fired? What do you do when you're navigating the job search? What do you do when you're getting an interview? Should you lie about getting fired? I'm here to cover all of that today and help you move forward after you get fired. Let's get into it. So let's just start from the top up. Let's say you got fired just straight up. There were no warning signs, there were no murmur, and you just got fired straight up. There's actually a recent Reddit thread that one of our team members sent me that I think is applicable to your situation or anybody's situation, and I'd love to give my thoughts. So the Reddit thread goes like this. 26-year-old in tech, I was terminated for performance reasons for my first job in tech. 6 people were let go that day, including my boss. The whole situation was a shit show, except for the manager. They didn't backfill anyone else. In hindsight, it was clearly a layoff, but that doesn't mean it wasn't traumatic. 100%. I questioned my perception of my work ethic, performance. Had I been ignoring the feedback, etc., it probably took me 6 months to mentally recover. Oof. I hear that so often. It's just something that is natural when you get fired. You're questioning your self-worth. Did I miss the signs? How bad did I screw up to be on the chopping block? It doesn't matter if you're part of like a mass layoff or if you were singled out. It's all painful. It all sucks. If I'm wearing my career coaching hat on right now, what I would tell you right now, especially if it's fresh, is to let these emotions come. Step number 1 of after you get fired, it's really to get your mindset right. It doesn't mean like,
I am motivated and I will be confident and just move on.
Getting your mindset right is a journey, my friend. You're gonna go through the ups and downs. Getting your mindset right means you feeling the emotions of the situation, talking it out with other people, and having a trusted friend, coach, therapist to let it all out. Getting your mindset right then means of like,
okay, I'm not the only person who's going through this. And other people have gone through this.
Did you know actually 40% of Americans have gone fired throughout their career? Did you know that J.K. Rowling, that Steve Jobs, that Oprah Winfrey, so many other people have gone fired at least once in their career? That's all part of you getting your mindset right, right? Is feeling the emotions, you having people in your support system that you can talk about, and then realizing you're not alone. That's really what it is. The next step after doing that is really thinking, that was in the past, how can I move forward? And that's what I want to help you do next. So on the flip side, let's say this hasn't happened to you yet. Let's say you haven't gotten fired, but you're maybe thinking about quitting, or you're seeing the signs all around you that maybe layoffs are happening. What should you do? I actually got this DM from Kat, and this is what she says. Hey Sho, I'm currently employee of the US federal government, and as I'm sure you've heard the news, a lot of us are about to get laid off. Would you consider making a video or a series of videos on how to prepare for a layoff and also moving from the government sector to the private sector? Ooh, I love that Kat is already thinking ahead. I think that would be incredibly helpful for the thousands of federal employees who are about to go job hunting. I hear you, Kat, and yes, I will make some videos about this on Instagram, but also here. So if you ever have any questions and anything that you want me to address and deep dive into, please email us at podcast@workcap.com, and we're happy to feature you in our next episode. But Kat, I think in this situation, you're already thinking ahead, and that's exactly what I would tell people to do. If you start seeing the signs already, right, where you see the news, or your boss makes a comment here, or you're getting a memo from HR, like, you gotta connect the pieces, right? If possible, it's better to make your moves now than waiting to actually get fired. So prior to this, we already talked about getting your mindset right, and it seems like Kat's already doing that, right? She's already kind of mentally preparing for that. The second step actually to this is then seeing how you can audit your current skills and how it plays into your future role. So what Kat is saying here is she has her entire career in government, and now she's thinking about moving to a corporation, a private sector. And how are you able to do that? That is the next step for you, my friend, is thinking, I have these skills here doing this role. What are the skills that they require in this new role or this new industry? And then you bridging that connection. So for example, let's say you are currently a project manager in this government role. You currently manage multiple projects here in this government role, and you're thinking about getting a similar project management role in this private sector. For that, that's actually quite simple, because you have this role and you're going for this role and it matches up easily. So the same skill that you're using in this role pretty much are the same skills that you'd be using here. It works out, right? So I don't even think you need to have a grand plan here. You can just tailor your resume for this role, but all of it is already kind of done for you because you're already doing that. You apply, interview, all good there. But let's say you had a different of a pivot. Let's say you're a project manager here as in a government role, and you're thinking about being a product manager in a tech company. That gap is not as straightforward as before, right? So now you're going from here to there. And this is when it's so crucial for you to audit your skills and for you to see how your past skills can fit into your new role and your new industry. Audit the stuff that you've done that would be applicable for a tech product manager role. Did you work with stakeholders? Did you work on any sort of product or project launch? Did you connect with some of the tech guys? And did you work with some of the customers, right? You're already thinking as a product manager, but you're thinking about it here in your current role. That's really the secret sauce for you to move from this role into this, doing something completely different. But first, step number 2, right? Audit your skills. So in Kat's situation, she kind of already is figuring out what she wants to do next. But if you're watching this and you're still thinking,
Well, I'm still fired. I don't know what's next.
that's the next step for you, my friend. After you've gotten your mindset right, after you have audited your skills, it's now time for you to see what's out there for you. And you know that movie scene with Robin Williams where the guy's saying, I have no idea what I want to do tomorrow. And he goes, how exciting. That's what I want you to feel, because now you have a clean slate. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to feel trapped in your last role. You getting fired, you having this change of direction can be the biggest blessing possible. Remember that mistake that we talked about at the beginning? About the number one mistake that gets people stuck after they get fired? You know what it is? It's dwelling on the past and thinking that they can't change it and thinking that they can't move forward in a new direction. That is the biggest waste of time, my friend. Because I'm here to tell you, there's so many people who have been in your shoes before. Because from my experience seeing so many people go through similar situations, it's the people who got fired from a job that they hated, that they did not like, feel that they had no other choice but to stick in that job and do something similar. It's these people who feel the most stuck in their career. And again, I don't want that to be you. So instead of dwelling on the past and what went wrong and how shitty of a manager your last boss was, all of it is valid, of course, right? This is the part that we do during our mindset phase. But after you've done all of that, after you let it all out, I want you to then shift into, but what's next for me? What skills can I sharpen? What connections can I now tap into? What's an opportunity that's now open to me that I wouldn't have gotten if I were staying stuck in my last job? Because you want to know the people who bounce back the fastest and strongest and most sustainably? It's the people who move forward and think forward with intention. Just recapping this right here. Get your mindset right. Audit the skills that you like doing and that you want to continue using, and then choose what's next for you. And this what's next for you doesn't have to be your past. It can be whatever you want, as long as you're excited about it and you're willing to learn and build the skills you need to go get it. So what's gonna happen next is you're gonna send out applications, you're gonna meet people, and you will get interviews again. If you just got fired and you're like,
Dude, I just got fired. I'm in this hellhole and won't ever get out. I can't even think about getting interviews.
you will get interviews again, my friend. And something that naturally will come up is thinking, how do I progress in interviews? So I actually got this DM from Nicole. So Nicole says, hey, Sho, I recently got laid off and was wondering if this is something I should mention when interviewers ask why I left my last job. Does it make you look bad or desperate in their eyes? Great question. So there's lots of different opinions that you're gonna get here. In short, it does not make you look desperate. In short, it does not make you look like a bad performer. But with that said, it is all about how you say it, all right? So a wrong way to say it is,
yeah, I got fired in my last role and my boss was a dick and didn't realize the skills that I had. I got let go unexpectedly and I'm really excited to be here today.
right? That's what you don't want to say, my friend. You don't want to blame the last guy. You don't want to blame the situation. It is what it is. And what I actually recommend you to do is actually say this. While I enjoyed my 3 years at organization, towards the end of my tenure, my company announced that they were going through some fundamental organizational changes. My role, along with everyone else's on the marketing team, was unfortunately terminated. With that said, I view it as a blessing in disguise, as it did feel like I was hitting a ceiling for my own development. That's why when I saw this role, I immediately knew that this is the next step for me, and I'm excited to continue to grow as a marketing manager. That's if you were part of mass layoffs, but what if you got terminated after maybe a shorter stint? Here's another alternative. My position was terminated in July of last year after 9 months with the team. I learned a lot in my short time there, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't the right fit for either side. I think they were looking for someone with more specialized experience in paid media, while my expertise was more focused on SEO and content. I also learned that I'm a better fit with roles that involve a bigger team, and that's one of the reasons this opportunity caught my eye. I'm excited to pursue roles that bring out the best in my digital marketing experience, and looking forward to learning more about this opportunity here. So those are just two alternatives there, but you notice the trends here, team? It's less about why the last opportunity sucked, why it drained me, and more about what I learned from it, what I gained from it, and what I'm taking from it and bringing here. Like, you're looking forward to this new role, and that's how I want you to emphasize. I'm excited about this opportunity. Fuck the past, right? What happened. I'm ready to move forward and bring my best self here. That's what hiring managers want to hear. So going back to that DM from Nicole, does it make you look bad? Does it make you look desperate in their eyes? Not when you frame it like that. When you're beaming with like excitement and you're beaming with, I'm so excited to be here and excited to contribute to your team, that's the person that they want. If you do that, you will move on and you will get the job. So let's recap from the beginning. Getting fired sucks. There's no way around it. But if you take those 4 steps, getting your mindset right, that includes grieving, that includes shit talking, that includes doing everything you need to do to get it out of your system. Second is then auditing your skills. Figure out the skills you liked, you didn't like. That's all important right there. Number 3 is then getting clear on what's next for you. And hint, remember, you don't have to stick to your past. That's the big mistake that a lot of people make. And then 4, getting out there again and knowing how to share about your past experience in a positive light, showing how you're excited for the new role. If you do those 4 things, I can guarantee you, my friend, you're gonna have a lot of success and you're gonna have a long career. So hope you enjoyed this episode of Work Happier podcast with Show Duan. If you have any questions, if you want to be featured in our next episode, email us at podcast@workhap.com, and I'll see you next week. Take care, my friend.